What's going on, my fit disciples? Welcome back to another video, and let's just talk for a little bit. As you know, or if you don't know, my family and I, we are homeless. I'm not afraid to say that now. I've been using a nicer term, unhoused, but I think it's time to just embrace where we're at and just say, right now we're homeless. We don't have a place to live, a solid place to live. We're not bringing in enough income financially, and so we're out here. But this experience has been so eye-opening in terms of our relationship with the Lord and how He has spoken to us and through us during this season. We have emotionally been up and down. We've been doubting whether we heard God in the first place. We've been doubting whether or not God is with us. We've been doubting whether or not we should go just get regular jobs and just go and pursue the things that seem to give us an easier life or more manageable life. And throughout this whole season, I have to say that God has been faithful. If you ever want to kind of experience what the Israelites were going through during the wilderness, go into a season of homelessness with inconsistent income. If you go into that as a believer, that is probably the closest we'll get to the wilderness experience. But one thing that really is striking us in this season is the manna from heaven. God literally provided manna from heaven for them. Day after day for 40 years, He provided for them. And we are experiencing that manna from heaven. So we're in the midst of changing motels. We're going into another motel for another 3 weeks. But that was not how this week started. This week started with us thinking that we might have to sleep in our car because we didn't have any more money to book any more time at a motel. That's how this week started. But through a series of events, through the kindness of people who know us, who love God, and God using them to sow into us, we are able to find a motel room to stay in for the next 3 weeks. But that is not how this week started. This week started with us thinking like, okay, we're about to hit rock bottom. Like it was going to be the lowest of where we could go. But the Lord confirmed again that He is with us. And we're at a point now where we have no choice but to believe Him. We must believe who He says He is to us. We must believe who He has called us to be. We must believe that He is with us in the things that He has told us to build and to create. And so unbelief is no excuse. And that was honestly the reason why the children of Israel didn't get into the promised land. That generation of the children of Israel didn't get into the promised land. It's because God would perform miracle after miracle after miracle, provide ways out of no ways, water in the desert, manna from heaven, the plagues to deliver them out of Egypt, fire by day, the cloud by day, the fire by night, God's glory descending on the temple, whatever you want to think of, the mountain where Moses is up there getting the law and the glory of God descends on Sinai. They have so many examples of God providing for them, declaring that He is with them, declaring that He is for them, and declaring that they would get the victory and that they would inherit the promised land. They just wouldn't believe because the place they were in was too uncomfortable for them. The place they were in challenged their flesh, made them or forced them to think of spiritual things and not fleshly things. And we can probably look at that story and say we would never be the children of Israel, but quite frankly, we are. We are so like the children of Israel, especially in our day and age. We are so comfortable in our comforts. Like just telling somebody that the Lord called me out of a 9 to 5, right? I know a lot of Christians, they make fun of that because they think, well, that you didn't hear God or whatever. And it's like, you don't always know that. You don't always know that some people are literally called out of their 9 to 5 before they're ready to, before they even want to. And they go through seasons of struggle financially. They go through seasons of homelessness, possibly not having food, but God has called them into it to build their faith and to make them into who he wants them to be. And but that takes a spiritual mind. That takes a spiritual mindset. In order for us to truly start believing God and who he says we're going to be through the wilderness, we have to have a spiritual mindset. It cannot be carnal. It cannot be, I have to do it the way others are doing it. You cannot have that mindset. Somebody telling you should just get a job. If that's not what God told you, you can't do that. If that's not what God commanded you to do, you can't do that. But you do have to buy into the things that God did tell you to do. You have to believe God for what he did say so that you can get to the promised land. And so even if you're going through something like this, or you're going through a trial or a tribulation, this is a challenge for you to believe God. This is a challenge for us to believe God, because this is what the wilderness is all about. This is what trial is all about. Trial is to prove if we really are committed to Christ, if we're really committed to the name of Jesus. Trials are there. God allows trials. God allows persecution. God allows all of these things to see if we are really his, that if everything was taken away from us, he is enough and we're committed to his kingdom. But God has been providing for us, and I can't I can't fathom not believing God now. If I don't believe God after this, that is because I just want to be rebellious. That is because I just want to do what I want to do. And I want my heart to be hardened, and I don't want to accept what he has done for us. And we all get presented with that. Every time God does something for us, it is an invitation to believe him. Every miracle he performs is an invitation to a journey with him. When Abraham was given the promise and he experienced God, each and every single experience was God's invitation to friendship. Everything that we go through and then God does something miraculous, it is God's invitation for us to walk with him, to journey with him. And honestly, that is the beauty of the gospel. And it's what no other religion can give. It's what no other faith or lifestyle can give. It is what no other fleshly sin can give. It is that God is always with us, no matter what we're facing in life. As a believer in Jesus Christ, what his broken body means, what the tearing of the veil means, it means that no matter where I go, no matter what I've done, no matter what I'm going through, if I put my trust in him, he is with me. He is Emmanuel, God with us. And we can make that personal and say, because I put my faith in Jesus, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm going through, whether I get laid off or whether I have to quit, whether I am starting a business and the money's just not coming in, or whether I'm successful and I'm thriving, it doesn't matter the position or the status, God is with me. He's with me in my flaws. He's with me in my failures. He's even with me in my unbelief, in my moments of doubt. He is still with me. He is still so close to me. I don't have to run to find him. No matter where I am, he is right there. And that is the beauty of the gospel. It is God being reconciled and reunited with humanity through Jesus and what he did for us. So I just wanted to come on here and encourage you guys, like, we're going through, but God is feeding us. God is showering that manna from heaven. God is giving us what we need, providing a way for us, a way that we cannot deny is him, a way that we cannot find any other reason but to say, God, you told that person to give that money. You've sent them to us, and you sent a word to us. You sent encouragement to us. The other thing I'll say is, if God isn't with you, he's not going to finance you. If God isn't with you, he's not going to cover the way the way you probably need to be covered. If you are doing something that is rebellious and disobedient, and this whole thing is just a sham, God wouldn't be with you. But God is with us because he is dropping. When we're at our last, when we're thinking, oh my gosh, this is it, we don't have it, he comes around and just gives exactly what we need. So I want to encourage you and admonish you, believe God now. Trust God now. And notice when he is dropping little little pieces of manna, when he's dropping that bread of heaven, and say, you know what? This is just a testimony. This is just a seed of my faith. This is to cause my faith to grow. This is what this is. And as you go through the list of times that people gave to you, people gave you a place to crash, people gave you food to eat, start remembering that this is God's grace and this is his mercy that is providing for you. And that is the beauty of being in relationship with God, that no matter where you are, he is with you. He will take care of you. He will keep your mind. He will keep your emotions. He will provide for you. And there is a promised land at the end of this. There is a place awaiting us that is a reward.